Welcome back to the Cobra Kai Pawncast. I'm Matt Borlenghi, and parked right next to me there is Drew Raskin, the Cobra Kai kid. Flip the script. You all know him, you all love him, and some of you like me. So,
They
how
all
you
love
doing
you.
today? Oh, sure. Flattery gets you everywhere. You doing
uh,
all right today, Drew?
I'm doing good. I had a injury about a month and a half ago that kind of took me out of basketball and like running and things. But now I today I have a basketball game. I'm back on it, so I'm excited to get back on track.
Right on. But what are you doing playing basketball? We've stood next to each other. You're
Hey, look at Isaiah Thomas, who's like I don't know, he's like shorter than me, and he was in the
yeah,
league.
but his vertical is probably his toes to your forehead, so there's a difference.
You haven't seen my vertical.
You're right on that.
I'm
Okay. Well,
it, it's
ma-
it's not that high.
yeah, I can just about get my toes off the ground with my vertical these days. So,
Okay. Do
yeah.
you play basketball?
No. No, I learned early on that I'm not a basketball player. I'm a football player, baseball player, tennis player, golfer. What else? Volleyball. I can do just about any sport, but I cannot play basketball to save my life. I mean that's my quickest exit route. You
Mm.
know, when it's time to die, if God or whoever, whatever power greater than myself said I could get an extra 10 years if I could make a free throw, I just I just bounce the ball back to him and say, Let's go check out some nice scenery, pal."
Hey, maybe one day we'll play.
Yeah, or I'll be the water boy. How's that? I could
Alright.
swing water boy on a basketball court. Um, so let's start off with a little bit of the morning no. The morning no. What's going on in today's entertainment world? It's official, and this is kind of handy towards since we're here on YouTube. YouTube has dethroned Disney to become the world's biggest media company. What do you think of that? That is unbelievable. They pulled in an estimated $62 billion in revenue in 2025. YouTube's valuation now ranges from 500 billion to 560 billion. Netflix is its closest rival, sitting at 409 billion. So guess what? Between the Pawncast and Cobra Kai, we're sitting on the number one and number two platforms in the world. Can we put an echo on that somehow? The numbers one and two podcasts in the world. Stallone is executive producing another Rambo movie with Noah Centineo stepping into the role. And Schwarzenegger is, as they say here, going one better by actually starring in King Conan. So you're going to have a new Rambo movie coming up and a new Conan movie, although Stallone won't be playing Rambo for whatever reason. I guess it's a younger version of him. It's a prequel. So that's kind of cool. CAA is one of, the biggest agencies in the entertainment business, and they just settled a pretty big lawsuit wherein they agreed to pay a writer client of theirs named John Lucero about $500,000 just days before the case was set to go to trial, after he alleged that they had an internal blacklist, and that he was on the blacklist, and he was labeled an underperformer and a client his agent was quote quote getting rid of. And the guy had no idea he was on that list, which was circulating inside the agency for nearly a year. And his argument was pretty straightforward. Once those lists went around, other agents stopped submitting him for work. And he says it effectively tanked his career. CAA maintained the list were just routine productivity reviews and said the settlement was simply cheaper than the cost of going to trial. But the settlement also let CAA sidestep the uncomfortable part, a court ruling on whether agencies can quietly shelve a client while still claiming to represent them. And that's a pretty sticky situation. I would be beside myself if I found out that my agency was basically calling me a mutt amongst all the agents, and no one was sending me out on auditions or anything while I was just growing moss. That's a tough situation to be in. And as much as I respect an agency like CAA and what they are and what they represent and whom they represent in the industry, that's an unfortunate situation for both sides. You got to feel for this guy. That's his bread and butter. That's how he feeds his dependents. He's a writer, and all of a sudden he's not being submitted on any projects. I mean, that's a tough sled to ride right there. So I'm glad that he was able to get some sort of compensation, $500,000 for basically not being submitted for work for a year. That's a life-changing amount. I would love to open my mail to a $500,000 check right now. So good for him, and good for CAA doing the right thing. And there you go. That's all I really have to say about the entertainment. Oh, well, let's see real quick what's going on as far as TV development. Jeff Daniels. We love some Jeff Daniels, going back to Dumb and Dumber, but his brilliance on the show, The Morning Show. Have you ever watched that on Apple TV?
I've heard of it.
Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon. It's a really good show. I really like some Morning Show. The Morning Show? The Morning No. Wonder where I got that idea. Jeff Daniels has joined season 5 of the Apple TV Plus drama, The Morning Show, playing a billionaire investment firm founder. He is an amazing actor who was actually told over and over not to do Dumb and Dumber because he was a serious actor. And I'm glad, as he is, that he ignored that advice and did Dumb and Dumber, because it opened him up to a completely new audience. And look where he is now. Unbelievable in The Martian. still want to. I can watch The Martian on loop. I love The Martian. You ever seen that one? Matt Damon,
No.
Drew,
Uh,
Drew,
I
Drew.
have homework. I have homework. I'll do it.
I know you've seen Forrest Gump. Really my. Okay, so Forrest Gump, I could watch over and over, and The Martian, I'll watch if I'm flipping channels. I see it, I'm stuck. I'm there.
Mhm.
I know we have a special guest joining us today. Um, Nichole is very involved in the world of autism and autism treatment, and she's has a very close connection. I wonder if she's pinged in yet.
She's here. I'm gonna bring her on right now. Hi.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Hi,
Hi,
Nichole.
Nichole.
I'm Matt.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on the show, guys.
Tell me, Nichole. We were because we haven't spoken yet, and there's no uh, pronunciation next to your name. So I'm rolling with Dare.
Close enough. It's an Arab last name. I'm pretty sure it has a somewhere in there, and I can't even do it right. What you said is fine.
Okay, all you out there watching. And listen, disclaimer, Nichole, we are a new podcast. We're still building the audience as we get exposure. We have the potential for the worldwide exposure thanks to Cobra Kai and the machine, as it were. But we're still finding our feet and building our audience. And when you reached out, and because it's an important topic, I'm not a fool most of the time, and I want to and welcome interesting topics and interesting people, and I know that the subject matter is very close to you. All right, Nichole, please tell us about yourself, your connection to autism, because when I read your email, I was really struck and said, yes, please, Drew, I want to have this lady, Nichole, come on and speak to us and our audience.
Thank you so much. So I really had nothing to do with autism until I met my first husband in 2011, and he had a child with autism. And when we got married, I was suddenly main caregiver. I was mama for a little girl I didn't know how to take care of. And I was thrown into the world of autism, and I had to learn how to take care of her. And I took parent training classes, and I read books, and I learned so much about autism and how to care for my child. But what I didn't expect was how prevalent autism is. There are one in 31 kids is the newest CDC report findings. 1 in 31 kids are diagnosed with autism. That's 2.5% of the population.
That's a
And they
lot of kids.
it's a lot, and they learn differently, and they think differently, and they behave differently. But one thing is very sure in my house, everybody religiously watches Cobra Kai, and that's why I reached out to you guys because she loves it so much, and the show itself teaches, um, kids how to handle different social situations, and that's something that really has to be taught to a kid with autism, and it just kinda goes in with our family really well.
That's amazing. I had no idea that you guys watch the show. And well, thank you. And what's your daughter's name? Your step is it stepdaughter? Yes.
Stepdaughter, but I often just call her daughter. Her name is
Yeah.
Isabel.
What's her name?
Isabel.
Isabel. Hi, Isabel. If you have a chance to watch this, thank you so much for watching Cobra Kai. And thank you for loaning us Mama for a little while so we could talk and learn more. And I do have a question, Nichole, and I just thought of it a little earlier this morning. Um, are do folks, children, adults with autism, do they know that they are different in any way, or are they just, beautiful beings who just are a little different and respond differently? Do we know anything about that?
When my daughter was old enough and high enough functioning for me to ask her that question, she said yes, that she always knew that she was different and she recognizes that she struggles with things that her friends do not. And, you know, she struggled with thinking in pictures. So if I would give you instructions like take these keys, go to the white car in the parking lot, unlock the door, open the door, get the pink paper that's on the seat, close the door, lock the door. It's a lot of instructions, but you could absolutely do that because while I'm saying it, you're imagining like a movie in your head, you doing those things. And for her, she doesn't think in pictures. And she thought that everybody else in the world could just memorize things really, really fast and that she couldn't. And she was broken somehow because she wasn't able. She would go up to the car with the keys and be like, "What do I do next? I don't remember." And it would drive me
Right.
insane. But they think differently and they learn differently. And we have to teach them to think in pictures so that they do have that real world functional skill of being able to follow multi-step instructions without memorizing it word for word. So yes, she was aware. I think some parents tell their kids that they're diagnosed with autism and what it is and why they struggle and why they need to go to therapy and different things. But some parents don't want the label and they're scared of people judging them because of the label and they choose not to tell their children. And I struggle with that decision. I don't like that. If a kid is gonna think that they're broken and feel like they're different but not know why, I feel like that can be harmful to them. But every family's different.
That's amazing. And how old is Isabel now?
She's 18 now.
18. So, and how old was she when you were able to ask her that question and she was actually able to, you know, give
She
it?
was, I would say, about 10 years old before she really could put words to the thoughts behind it.
Got
She's
it.
absolutely brilliant. She's a very, very smart kid, but she couldn't explain why autism made her different until she was about 10.
Right. And so, is she involved at all? And I want to know, because I know you've made quite an impact with the business side of it, with the franchise business that I was reading about. So, and I'm curious as to whether Isabel is involved in that with you at all, or has any interest in being involved in it. And I just, don't worry about any kind of time constraint here, Nichole. Just feel free to riff and tell us everything because it's important and it's fascinating, to be honest.
So, like I said earlier, the number of kids with autism is insanely high. And every year, more and more and more kids get diagnosed. And all of these kids are usually recommended to do ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis. It's basically a nonverbal way of teaching a child new skills, totally different than what you would see in a normal classroom at school. There's one teacher with a group of kids, and they're all learning by watching the teacher talk about something. Autistic kids can't learn that way, especially if they're nonverbal, and a lot of them aren't at a young age. And so we have to teach them differently without necessarily using a lot of words, but teaching them skills. And ABA therapy does that, and it's wonderful and it's beautiful and it's awesome. But because the number of kids being diagnosed is just growing so fast, the number of ABA clinics in the United States is not keeping up with that demand. And there's a huge shortage, huge. About 60% of all kids that need the therapy can't access it. There are wait lists up to a year long if you have one in your area. But some of these very rural areas, I live in Texas, there's like big gaps where there's no cities and just really small towns. They have nothing. And it's a huge problem. So when my daughter needed therapy and I couldn't find it for her, I decided to open my own business and just start my own ABA clinic just for her. And as my clinics became full and full and full, and I saw how awesome it was to help other kids, not just mine, but other kids too, I decided to franchise the business. And we became the very first ABA franchise in existence, which was kind of wild because I was only 29 years old when I started this company. So I was just this little girl that didn't know what I was doing, that, dominated this industry that has huge gaps. And now I teach other entrepreneurs that want to own their business how to open an ABA clinic, how to help the kids, how to hire the autism professionals, and they just do the business side of things.
That's
And so,
amazing.
thank you. The company's now 10 years old. We have almost 100 clinics open. We're at like 88 right now. And we've
What?
helped over 5,000 families over the decade that we've been open.
You are responsible for 88 clinics already.
So far, so good. I can't wait to get to 100. It's going to be huge. We're going to pop champagne for sure. It's going to be great.
Wow. And what is involved in opening? If I could figure out a way to make it work financially and everything, I would love to be number 100, to be
That would
honest.
be awesome.
I'm
It's
here, I'm here in Georgia in the suburbs of Atlanta,
Mhm.
and I don't know that there's anything like that here. Now, Georgia, mind you, is particularly bad when it comes to any kind of support or treatment or financing for anything that involves any type of mental health or anything like that. And see, I don't even know technically, does autism fall under the umbrella of mental health?
It does. It's
Okay.
weird. It's also considered behavioral health, so it's lumped in with all the drug rehab programs, which is very strange, but that's just how they do it. But luckily, because autism is, since Obama did the healthcare reform, it was like one of the good things that came out of this. Autism was lumped in as a diagnosis that needed medically necessary treatment. And
Okay.
now health insurance, even Medicaid, will pay fully for ABA therapy. And I think it's because they did a study that took years and years to finish. But once it was done, they discovered that paying intensely for ABA therapy when a child is young saves the health insurance companies millions of dollars over a lifetime, because now they have their own job and they can talk and say when they feel sick and go to the doctor and have a better diet and all of these things that go into it. We don't want them to be in assisted living their whole lives. We want them to be able to
Right.
take care of themselves. And so health insurance pays for it. We have 7 locations in Atlanta Metro. So we're out in your backyard probably, and Peach State is really good about paying for ABA therapy. So
Sure.
things are
I'm
getting
going.
better. I mean, way better than it used to be. You can find actual help for families. They don't have to come out of pocket for this stuff anymore. But there's still a ways to go. I think there could be more funding and better resources for families.
I am familiar with Peach State. I also, other than being an actor, both my wife and I are in the health insurance business. With the company that we're contracted with, we don't handle Peach State unless it's Ambetter. Now, and I'm
Mhm.
not sure if Ambetter
It does.
Ambetter does handle some mental health uh, or offer some mental health support. Um, but I am familiar with that. I just know that, with certain things we've faced in the past ourselves, we it's been very frustrating to find, a really good qualified provider for certain mental conditions. But and you just knocked me right out of that top 100 because you already have 7 here.
Atlanta is huge. So there's plenty of room for
Don't I
much
know it?
more. And there's a huge number of children in Atlanta. All of these big metro cities, the population is very dense. So we could open 100 just in Atlanta and still not have enough. Right.
That's wild. That's wild. And they're all franchises that, how involved are you personally when it comes to getting someone set up with a franchise?
I'm very involved. I'm very hands-on. I'm still part of the support team, even though I'm CEO. Most of our franchisees have no experience with autism or have no experience in business or children whatsoever. So we teach them everything from the ground up. How do you start an LLC? How do you get the licenses? How do you hire the people? How do you do the payroll and the bookkeeping and pay all the bills and keep the lights on? So I teach them how to do everything step by step by step.
That's great.
25% of our franchisees are autism parents like me. So they know the kids side of it, but not the business side of it. And other franchisees maybe came from the corporate world and they just wanted a job that meant something and gave them meaning and purpose in life, do something good in the world, but make some money on the side too. It's a good
Right.
thing.
I was just about to say that when you were saying that, maybe came from the corporate world and wanted to do something. My first thought was maybe do something that makes a difference
Yes.
and helps people. I mean, that's why I do the health insurance thing. It's not a lot of money, but it helps people,
It does.
even through all the nightmares with the health insurance reductions and everything going on currently for the last year. um, you can really make a difference in someone's life. What is the company's name, Nichole? What is your whole ball of wax called?
It's called Success on the Spectrum, and that's really long. So we usually shorten it to SOS
Oh, nice.
On the shirt.
on the shirt.
My vision is so bad, but yes, I see it now.
And we'll put links in the description so that way people can check it out and support. How can people support if they want to like get involved and help out? Is there a way?
Yeah. Anybody who's looking to either enroll their child in an ABA clinic, or if you would like to open your own ABA clinic, you can go to our website, successonthespectrum.com, and there are buttons for everything. For parents that are looking for services for their kid with autism, it's important to know that the earlier you get treatment, the better the results are. So strike first, as they say. Don't wait around for services. Do your darndest to get them in as soon as possible. There's going to be a lot of people that say, "Oh, schools are fine. You don't need ABA therapy. Just go to the school system." But the school system weren't built for kids with autism. It was meant for group learning, and autistic kids need individualized learning.
Yeah,
So no mercy, and go for the direct therapy that you need right away. Get your kid the most and best help as possible, as young as possible, so that they can grow with these skills instead of trying to learn them later on. And
that's
if you want to
fantastic.
open an ABA therapy franchise, you can have that sensei leadership. You like how I'm throwing all this stuff in, right?
I
Yeah.
love it.
And you can open your own clinic, whether you have experience or not. We can teach you everything, and you can help the kids in your local community. And that's really what brings me joy in life. Like, the money's fine and good, but knowing that I'm leaving the world a better place than when I left it,
And
it's
just
success.
improving the quality of life.
Yeah, for the kids and their parents.
Sure, sure. Um, would you mind replying all and sending, all the information, any links that you want to, that we can help you out by putting up on the screen or in notes or whatever once once this is live up on YouTube. We don't record live, just so you know. Um, this will be up Friday morning at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you want to watch it at that point and see how you did, I think you've done great. I really respect what you've done and appreciate what you've done. And I'm not just blowing smoke either. I mean, this sounds like a really cool thing for people to get involved with as a franchise. And if I could figure it out and, discuss with my wife how, you know, um, maybe we can help as far as, finding the right pocket up here. We're in an area outside of Atlanta proper called East Cobb, which is surrounded by some more rural areas, but we're definitely suburbia here, and I'm definitely interested in knowing more about it. It sounds like a very worthwhile way to live one's life,
It
by
is.
improve your own life by knowing you're doing something good and improve kids and parents' lives. It's just I really admire and respect what you've done, Nichole, and maybe I can somehow make a difference. Hopefully, we are making a difference with you here also, because we are also going to be on at least one other platform as a secondary run to YouTube. And there's a third platform that has also reached out wanting to do that as well. So
Awesome.
hopefully we can get the message and the information out far and wide for you. And I really want to thank you for sharing all this. Do you have anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I just want to ask our listeners to give our host a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening in, a thumbs up, a like, a follow. These guys are bringing good information to good people in an entertaining way. It's not easy to do a podcast, and the amount of time and effort that it takes to put everything together is a lot more than people think. So please give them some love, and thank you
Thank you
for
for that.
It's very nice of you.
Yeah. How are you spending the rest of your day? Are you off opening another franchise?
There's always another fire I need to put out. So I'm just here helping people build their dojos and
Right.
open their businesses and run them well to do good by the kids.
Right on. Thanks so much for coming on with us, Nichole. Really appreciate you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Nichole. That was great.
She's great. She's
Very
great.
so nice. So nice. So
What
kind.
what an amazing thing that she's built and continues to build out. And honestly, I mean, if I need to look into, because my wife and I already have an LLC. So I wonder, I'm actually going to be following up with Nichole and seeing what all really is involved, what kind of grants are available, what kind of funding support is available as far as building that up, because that as rewarding as helping people with their insurance plan can be, this sounds more rewarding, more immersive, more interactive, and yeah,
Mhm.
I'm going to look into that. I know we're longer than our typical segment already, but do we want to move into the new actor's life segment or save it for next week?
We could introduce that if you want. Since I mean you were just on a film set this past week, so I kind of wanted to hear a little bit about how that was.
All right, so folks, we're not doing a real Pawn Talk segment this week either. Maybe we'll be back next week with that, but we're going with hashtag actor life for this segment. See
You
the
come up with the
Chiron?
best names.
And I had the privilege and joy of working on another show just 2 days ago. I was filming on Monday. So, and I know we are on Friday. So earlier this week, I was on a show called RJ Decker. It's a new show. I think it actually just had its premiere of its first episode. It gets a lot of attention, a lot of promotion on ABC, and it's a double run with Hulu, and it stars Scott Speedman, who is known for other shows such as Animal Kingdom, and he was cool, very, very fluid actor, which I told him. I said, you know what? I really like how fluid you are. He just kind of goes with it and adjusts to whatever I was doing, and then I would adjust to what he was doing. And, it was a really good experience. And I got to hit a golf ball or three while I was out there in North Carolina. And, I made a little video to share with everyone. And this is Actor Life. Hey, so this is a little segment called hashtag Actors Life. And I mentioned on the last episode of the Pawncast that I was going to be heading up to North Carolina to act on an episode of a new show called R.J. Decker, opposite the star of the show, Scott Speedman. And I'm pretty excited about it. I just crossed into North Carolina and stopped at probably the nicest rest stop I've ever seen. Look at the scenery. Nice lake, folks sitting at picnic tables, having a bite. Alrighty then, let's get back on the road. So, R.J. Decker is a first-class production. This is a first-class hotel. Dig it. Well, I figure since I'm playing general manager of a golf course, I might as well check out the golf course here. And from what I hear, this is a pretty cool place. It's called Castle Bay. And I have my golf clubs with me, so I think I'll go hit a few balls. So in the film and TV world, this is what's called base camp. You've got trailers for talent and me, and then you've got trailers for wardrobe and transportation vehicles. And then you find your way over to me. And they have me set up with some pretty nice digs. Probably won't be spending all that much time here. The location where we're filming is a golf course, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to film there, really, but we'll see. So the location we're filming at is a pretty ritzy country club called Cape Fear Country Club. It's like the old money country club. Bentleys are okay and all, but this car, that's the jam. The old school Jeep Wagoneers. Those things are awesome. Pretty ritzy. Anytime you see a course with columns, fancy pants. So a lot of, acting work is, what they say, hurry up and wait. You sit around, you don't do a whole hell of a lot. So I want you to meet a few of the real VIPs on a TV production. Hair, makeup, people to call talentless, the guy with Tourette's. There you go, see? Well, that's a wrap on me, on R.J. Decker. And had a great time. Never got around to catching a little time with Scott, really off camera. But good guy, and great group of folks all around. So, yeah, Hashtag actor life. All right. By the way, that little clip of me hitting a golf ball, they say it still hasn't landed yet. That's why when I turned back around and walked away from it, I just gave that little bye-bye. Because
I think I saw it fly over New Jersey the other day.
But now it has a tail on it. Yeah. It was really a great experience. And, I didn't want to invade the actual set environment while we were getting ready to film and all that. Like actually on set on the golf course with Scott. I didn't want to bring, my camera in. They filmed with 3 cameras, including a big crane rig. So it was really cool. And, when you're in the moment, you want to let the moment be the moment and not get, too sidetracked by doing little clips for the Pawncast. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I respect people's privacy and whatnot. Scott and I, we had nice little chit chats and whatnot, but it's not like we traded phone numbers or anything. He's got a lot on his plate, being the title character of R.J. Decker. I mean, when the show is named after your character, you've got a lot of balls in the air. Somewhat, as one of the series that I'm developing, Townsend, I play, and that's created by Michael Houston King. We'll get to that in another episode of Cobra Kai, and we'll run maybe a clip from that show. The one from last episode, Letters to Addie, and Townsend are 2 shows that are actually have traction going to them. And we'll talk more about that next time. But I hope everyone not just enjoyed Nichole DeHare's life purpose and what she's doing. I hope you also enjoyed, a little day in the life of an actor with that Actor's Life segment. And a special thanks again to Nichole's daughter, Isabel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being you and a Cobra Kai fan. Drew, any parting things? Any words of wisdom? I know that's a lot to ask from you, but anything you want to throw out?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nichole's presentation was great, and I'm looking forward to supporting it. And if everyone out there wants to support too, we'll have links in the description, so they can check it out.
We're very excited about that. This feels like an episode that we might actually be making a difference. And I didn't choke up or get watery-eyed like I did in episode 1. I'm trying to, but then again, remember, guys, it's okay to cry. We all need to do it every once in a while. All right. Take care, everyone. See you soon, Drew.
See ya.